All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I'm here with Shaun. What's going on, brother?
Not much, bro.
How you been?
Yeah, I've been alright. Cut my hand the other week, so I've been out of footy for a little bit, but it's looking on track for me to play this week. So yeah, feeling good.
Oh, you're going to play this week?
Yeah, I should be able to play this week, even though it's in a splint right now. Like, it's in a bit of Barnos, but I'll get it all fixed up tomorrow and stuff, and have a look and like try and get back to training the end of the week and see how it's.
Do you reckon you'll be able to grip?
I'm all right. Like flexing the fingers right now. It's more about like extending, because what I did was I cut the nerve in my finger. So they had to go in there and re-stitch the nerve together and stuff with like really tiny micro stitches, and they're really, really vulnerable. So if I was to hyperextend my finger a bit, like as I'm pushing off the ground or something like that,
or fending some bloke's face,
catching a ball, my finger gets jammed or something, then it could tear the stitches, and then I'm back to square one. I have to get surgery again, you know. So
what?
That's what the splint's for, to stop it doing that, and then I'm going to have to play in a little splint as well. So just this weekend, and then the stitches should be healed.
So they've stitched the nerve together.
Yeah. So it's a funny story how it happened actually. Like I was having my pre-game meal that I have before every game, normally just like a chicken sandwich with avocado on it. Yep. So I had a little bit of avo left over already, like one half, and then obviously the other half was untouched and that had the seed in it. So just got the butter knife out and scooped out the remaining avo, whatever, put it on. And so the other half with the seed in it, trying to get the seed out. And so I do the standard like horizontal chop first, as anyone tries to do, and it just didn't go in. The seed was too hard. Yep. So then I chucked it on the table and I tried to just stab it in, and then it wasn't going in. It was like just slipping off the top. So I was like, all right, I'll push it in, like I'll grab it and then force it into the seed. So then with the butter knife as well, I was like, oh, not going to hurt me if it slips or anything. Yep. And then, try and do that. Slips right off, goes through the avo, right through like the webbing of my finger, and then pissing out blood.
So was this, how many hours before the game was this?
This is like half hour before I'm about to leave to go to the game.
What were you like?
First I was like, oh crap. And then I didn't think, I just thought it was a little cut, and then look, and it's pissing out blood because I cut the artery as well. So it's like kind of squirting out a little bit. It goes all over the food, all over the avo. Don't even get to eat the avo. It's covered in blood.
Devo.
Yeah.
Still good.
So like, oh crap. And they're like, oh shit. And then my roomie's like over there watching. He's like, what'd you do? And I was like, oh, it's pissing out. And so just go and like run it underwater and stuff, trying to see what it's like. It's still just pissing out. He's like wigging out massively, running around. He goes and gets Band-Aids and stuff. And I was like, bro, Band-Aids aren't going to do nothing. Like, it's pissing out. Yeah, all everywhere. So then he's like, oh, what should I do? Did you need to go to hospital? I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of scared to look down because like I know how much it's bleeding. I'm like, could my finger be half off here? Like I don't even know what's happening here. But I know I can kind of feel it still, and like I could feel it moving and everything. So I look down, and it's like probably about a quarter of the way of my fingers chopped off. Like sliced open massively, And I was like, I can still feel it, and like I can still move it. Like I'll be right to play. I was like, surely I don't need to go to hospital. Like just call up the doc, whatever. So we call up the doc. He says, get to the game. We'll stitch it up and stuff. See what it's like. Put tissues on it, and, like apply pressure and stuff. Quickly rush to the game. I heated up the chicken or some shit, so I just quickly ate the chicken because I was like, I'd only eaten brekkie. I was like, I need something in my guts. And then rush to the game. And then we quickly get stitched up at the game and stuff. He tests it out, the tendon's sweet. He feels it up and stuff, and like then obviously there's a bit of nerve damage, so he's just like, oh, you'll be able to play as long as you're sweet to play. I was like, oh yeah, right, I'll play then. So just chuck a whole bunch of gauze on it to try and stop the bleeding, and he stitched it up already. He had to jab it to needle to stitch it up and stuff, so like my whole hand's just about numb now after he's jabbed it. And then whole bunch of gauze and straps it and stuff, and then the strapping has to go like all the way around my hand just to hold the tape around my fingers and stuff, and because it's at the webbing, it's a weird position. So it goes like all the way around my palms and like my whole hand and shit, and it ends up being like half a boxing glove of padding almost. So because heaps of gauze and stuff. I'm like, I'll be sweet to play. And Brad pops his hand in. What the fuck have you done? It's like, it's avocado, mate, you know?
Was he like, what?
When I first walked in as well, they go, how did you do it? I go, an avocado. And like there's the main doctor and then like a backup doctor, and the backup doctor goes, I guessed it. Like, because apparently a really common injury where with knives, people like go to avocado seeds and shit, So Someone told me it's the most common way to injure your hand or to cut your hand open in England or some shit. Like
What?
avocado injuries, yeah.
Fuck.
So
Fucking avocado, bro.
yeah, I know they're deadly, man. So like half of my consultation with the specialist, with the surgeon, was like looking. He's like, "Oh, there's a tool you can get for avocado and stuff." So I looked at that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. So
And so what Brad Arthur was like, look, mate, you can't play. Like,
no. He's like, "Will you be all right?" And I was like, "Oh, I can move it and stuff." So like I'll be all right. I can catch a ball if I can move it.
Yeah.
And then like, I started to warm up with it, and then like I didn't even get to catch a ball to see what it was like. It just started pissing out blood because obviously the artery's still like lacerated. So
and the blood's flowing more.
Yeah. So it just starts pissing out, and then I didn't even notice because my hand's numb.
Yeah.
We walk over to like get bottles and shit, and then I look and like blood just pissing out of my hand, and like the whole bandage and stuff that they had was just covered in blood.
Yeah.
And then they're like, someone yells out to our trainer, "Pistol, there's blood on this ball." And he's like, "Oh, fuck, I know who it is. It's Laney." He looks across and he's like, "Laney, look at your hand." I was like, oh. So I had to go back in, get it strapped up again, black tape this time so you can't see the blood. Yeah. And then they put like a bit of ointment on it and stuff to try and block the bleeding. So I was like, yeah, I'm sweet to play, like whatever. Went out there and I made 2 drop balls in the first half. And I was like,
oh no.
Oh, like the first one, I think I almost went through, like made a line break if I catch it. Yep. And it just kind of a little bit out in front of me, so I just go to kind of bring it in with the left hand, and then like slips right out and gone.
As it would. Like,
yeah. And then like the next one I actually caught and like went to transfer in my other hand or something, and then slipped out again. But it wasn't the best day out for me. Like probably the worst.
Oh, so you played the whole game?
I played the whole game with it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you didn't play the game.
But like every time the ball came towards me, or like even when it was like normally you have the confidence, you know, it's like play 2-3 as a back rower anyways. My job's to get around and have those early, an early carry because the middles aren't back yet, you know. Yeah. But like my hand's messed up. I have half a boxing glove on my hand, so I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I should go around here yet. Like it's too early in the count for me to have a carry, because if I make an error, we're deep in our red zone and stuff, so you know?
True. Yeah, 100%.
Because like you don't want to go in with the negative attitude that I'm going to make an error, because I'm telling myself, no, I'm not going to make an error here, but it's just being a bit more precautionary.
And also, like coming out of your end, they're flying out to hit you.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And that's how I made like one of the errors as well. Like Jakey Trbojevic just shot up on me, and like didn't have enough time to. Yeah. So after that, I was just like, just catch the ball, watch the ball, like watch it into your hands and stuff. Yeah. And, like that's all you can really do.
And like when you're doing that, like you're not such a basic player, but like if you're so focused on that instead of being like, you know, flowing with everything,
it's unnatural.
It's just
it's going to alter your run and like your footwork and everything, your vision, because you're just so concentrating on that one. It's like learning to drive a car, and if you're learning to change the gears, then you're not going to be as good at steering and stuff again, you know. 100%. But like once you just get natural at it, then you do everything freely, and that's just kind of, I had to revert back to just trying to concentrate on the ball.
Catching the ball.
It's so simple, like under sixes again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man, fucking hell! From the avocados, bro. You gotta watch those fucking avocados. Get you every time.
Deadly, bro.
So you grew up in Sydney?
Yeah. I was born in like Paddington Hospital or something. Grew up in the same house, lived in the same house until I was 21 when I first moved across the Tasman.
Oh, straight to the Warriors.
Yeah, so I grew up Sydney, lived there my whole life.
With the Bulldogs early on though, weren't you?
Yeah, so that was my under 20s journey was Bulldogs. I started there straight after school, I think. I got signed by the Bulldogs, where my older brother was actually playing in the top squad, so I followed him there. But like before that, because I'm from the eastern suburbs, Maroubra, that's where I grew up. So I started playing footy like around there, and then my team folded or something, went to Clovelly, played there. Then when I went to high school, started getting along with the boys from high school, obviously a lot better, and like didn't get along with the other boys from Clovelly quite as well. So I just started, and obviously it's a bit more convenient for me to go straight from school to training and stuff. So I went to school at Endeavour Sports High at Caringbah.
That's a footy school too, hey?
Yeah, a footy school, yeah. So I went there, and then just started playing in the Cronulla competition because it was the closest by my community. some junior reps there.
So from a young age, was it always footy? Like, was it, who was your favourite? Like, I'd frothed on this player or anything like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, grew up in a footy family. Like, both my brothers played. Like I said, one of my older brothers played one game of first grade at Bulldogs, so he played footy his whole life. I was enrolled like as soon as under 5. I think I was 5.
Yep.
So I was only under 6s back then. You couldn't play under 5s, but
yep.
I played when I was 5, and then all the way through. And luckily, I was like always the biggest kid, so I was always good.
Oh, really? So you always were big?
I was always from 6, always the biggest kid. Like I remember, like my mum had like this scoring chart for me. That if you score a certain amount of points, then like when you got up to 100, whatever it was, then I got a prize or something or a present or some shit. And so the first year I played was like I wasn't actually good at footy. I was only 5, playing up an age group or whatever, and like apparently I used to cry like every time I got tackled. I was really? A little bitch.
Right,
and then
I never cried in my life.
Yeah. And then when I got to like 6, when I was my own age group, and I was like easily the biggest kid, and I was really fast and stuff when I was young.
Yep.
And I just started like, I think I ended up getting to like 250 points or some shit in the year. Yeah, I remember that. I think my mum still has the charts.
So you just annihilated blood.
Yeah, I was. But like you ask most first graders and stuff now, and you ask them how they're always a gun as a kid. Yeah, usually, they're always the gun player in the team.
Yeah, 90%.
Yeah, exactly right.
There's only a few.
Even if it started at like 8, they became the gun at 8, or they became the gun at 12.
Yeah,
they were always a gun. And so like I was always a gun when I was like from 6 to as I got like maybe 10, 11 or something. But that was pretty funny.
I try to tell people like, like they'd say to me, there's this guy in this local league, he's a gun and he does this and that. I'm like, you don't get it. Like, you got to be like a gun, like to guarantee that you're going to be in an roster, you got to be a gun of your state, not your local league team. Like,
no.
You got to be one of the best in the state, if not the country, to be guaranteed to go into NRL kind of thing.
100%. Like, the amount of people that progress through under 20s and stuff like that is like barely any.
Yeah,
like it's like it's like 2 people in each team or something that end up playing first grade, statistically, something like that. So,
yeah, and you don't appreciate it when you're in it. Like when I was in it, I wasn't like sitting there going, "Fuck, man, I'm so lucky. This is crazy." No. Like, I made it through. And I played soccer till I was 17, so I should have been even more like that. I didn't even play any rugby. I didn't play rugby league till I was 17.
Fucking hell.
And I debuted when I was 19, so I was fucking weird. And even I was like,
how did you even get scouted?
So it was just this thing called confraternity, and my school wasn't a footy school, but it's a Catholic school carnival, and there's a B comp for just like terrible. Like our front row was like 80 kilos.
Yeah, and you were playing in that.
And so my mates were just like, look, come away, because we'd all grown up together.
Yeah.
And so I'd been to nationals for running and everything like that, and they'd seen how athletic I was. I was with the Queensland Raw, Brisbane Raw soccer side, and so I'd made all the state sides for soccer and everything. They just seen how athletic I was or whatever. Yeah. And they just convinced me like, bro, come on, it'll be mad week. And so, we're in that terrible B comp. And I was playing and there were scouts there and they came, like won this player with the most potential award, but I was real sick when I got it.
Oh, really?
And so I was just like, man, whatever. And it was like the Broncos and I let it go because I had nationals for soccer the next week.
Yeah.
Didn't think anything of it. And then 2 weeks later, like my dad's like, oh, maybe we should give footy a call because like I don't know what's going on. My dad called the Broncos because that's what the award was from.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, my son doesn't play rugby league, he plays soccer, so we don't know what you want him to do.
Yeah.
And apparently the award gave you some development squad, you could go to a camp or something, and they were like, what, he doesn't play rugby league? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, well, we want him to come to our elite squad immediately.
Yeah.
And so I went to this camp and then
started learning to play, and then like obviously took to it naturally.
Oh no, I just went to the camp. Like I was still with the Raw.
Yeah.
I was still with Queensland Raw, so I was still a soccer player.
Okay.
Went to the camp, and they I guess they liked what they saw. They said, look, we'd love you to come play for our under-19s Colt side, the Broncos Colt side.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I don't know, I'll go speak to the Raw. I went to the Raw and said, look, what do you think? And they said, look, you probably play A-League within the next 2 years because I was already part of their first grade squad.
Yeah.
And then, funny because AFL actually found out about a kid that could play both sports, and they had a meeting with the Brisbane Lions, and they said, like, look, we'll fast track you to the draft. We'll give you 6 months of like full-time training and that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I ended up choosing
3 choices pretty much.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Why did you choose league then? If you played soccer,
it was the easiest.
It was the easiest for you.
Like
you were the best at league, were you?
Well, no, it was just like if I wanted to go to soccer, I had to go to England. Like A-League at the time was like
nothing,
nothing really. Like it was just coming in, And even now, it's still not really, And so my brother was already in England for soccer, playing with Nottingham Forest, which is like just under the Premier League. And so it was just kind of like, look, it's the Brisbane Broncos, man. They're the biggest at the time. They're the biggest club in the country, period. Like when it comes to sporting franchise, everything.
For sure.
And then I decided the Broncos, and 2.5 years later, I was bloody running out against me.
Wow.
But anyway, actually funny because my first training session, we rocked up, and because they said, we don't. When I turned up, they were like, we don't want you with our 19s. We're going to put you in a reserve grade Clydesdale's squad.
Okay.
But you'll still play with the 19s.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got there, rocked up, would have been 75 kilos, just like fucking so skinny. Because like I'm 187, 181.
You just heaps fit and fast or something?
Yeah, well, just a soccer body. Like I'd never done weights, never done any contact or anything like that. We were doing tackling on the pads, like just, the diamonds.
Yeah.
I did 2 tackles, had to stop. I didn't have anything there because I'd never tackled.
Yeah.
So I was like, my shoulders are like cramping. I can't move them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, even like a week or so later, he's got us all Colts around, the reserve grade coach. And he went through all of us and said, like, there was probably about 15 of us of the Colts. He said, you're ready to play reserve grade. And these are all the guns that have made Queensland, blah, blah, blah. Pointing to, like, each person, you're ready to play reserve grade. He went through everyone, said, everyone's ready, got to me, and he goes, you're not ready to play reserve grade, like Clydesdales. Yeah. I was the only person that he said, like, you're not ready to play reserve grade.
Yeah.
And I was the only person that ended up playing 7 games at the end of the season of reserve grade that year, first year. And so that's how terrible. I was 73 or 4 kilos. Yeah. Didn't know how to pass.
Fucking hell. You used to watch footy?
No.
Really?
No. I when I made my debut, I didn't even know what the numbers meant. Like, if you said to me
when you debuted for NRL?
Yeah, I didn't even know what 11 was. Like, I knew the back numbers, but the forward numbers were just like...
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't care. It just wasn't... I just got the ball and ran.
You just did your job, whatever they told you, like...
Just, this is how you play. And because soccer is like... On the wing, it's in fullback, because I was wing and fullback. It's relatively similar in the way that it's like
movements and
depth
stuff.
and that. Whereas in the forwards and even centre, it's a little bit. It's not as much.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about me. So
I only talk about myself every time.
All right, that's it. Thanks for coming, bro.
You probably said that story so many times.
Yeah, it's not as in depth as that. But,
that's pretty interesting. But like, very rarely would you find a sportsman that has like first played that sport, a professional sport, at fucking 17 or something.
Well, it took me, I think it was like, it ended up being like 54 or 60 rugby league games to make my debut.
Yeah. Still, but like crazy. Everyone else played thousands their whole life.
That's what happened for me. Like, that's the thing I was saying. Like, I didn't appreciate it. I thought, like, of course I should be playing a role. Like, I've earned my right.
Yeah. Or like, you better than anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, but you look back now, and you're like, man, what the fuck? But anyway, back to you. So you were coming through the grades. You made state and everything like that growing up, or
no. So I didn't even make Harold Matts. I got cut from Harold Matts.
Oh, really?
So I wasn't. So I was a late bloomer, like in terms of like my growth spurt and everything. So I was a big kid as a child, and then once it got to like 11, 12, whatever, you get some kids like just become man children.
Yeah.
At like 12 and that, and like all of a sudden I just got like fatter. Honestly, yeah.
Just went
as
outwards.
a kid, yeah. As a child, I was always big, and then I just got fatter and fatter, and I just got like my diet just got more and more out of control and stuff.
Really?
I remember as well. Like, I said there's the presents, how many points I scored. So however many tries I scored, my dad would buy me a hot dog, as many hot dogs.
Oh my God, Jesus!
And I was like 8 years old, scoring 3 tries, eating 3 hot dogs.
Mate,
so like, fuck, it's gonna be the fattest little fuck.
Ever, 100%. And then it's like an never-ending cycle because you're scoring tries to get the hot dog.
Yeah, exactly right. That was my reward, and that was what made me happy, So like, I just got fatter and fatter and stuff, and then the man children come up, and like, obviously I'm not as athletic or strong or anything like that. So, throughout those like teenage years, I just wasn't as good. I kind of just like fell off a bit. I just kept playing, because it was pretty fun at the time. And I always knew I was going to have a growth spurt because when I was, and like my mum always told me, just hang in there, just like be resilient pretty much, like your time will come and things like that. She always used to...
She seems pretty like switched on, like like sporting wise. Like
she always, and like my teachers and stuff at school, like because I went to a sports school, he would always say that type of stuff to us as well. And, so I was pretty determined to like just give it the best shot that I could, because it was always my dream as a kid to play to play NRL. So
really?
I thought, it'd be wrong to throw in the towel when you haven't even had your growth spurt and shit yet.
Yeah.
You know? So kept playing, toughed it out. I got cut from Harold Matts and everything.
How old were you? We got cut from 16?
Yeah, that's 16.
16.
So
Got cut. Harold Matts.
Got cut. Like I still hadn't had my growth spurt then. And then I think like the next year, until I turned 17, I grew like a foot.
Really?
Yeah, I grew like a foot,
Fucking
I
hell.
would have went like...
Because you're what, 6 now?
Yeah. Maybe less than like 10, 11 inches or something, but like massive shoot up.
Yeah, because you would have been like maybe 5'8" or something.
Yeah.
And then
6'6".
Fucking hell, wow.
From nowhere, yeah.
Was that painful on your ankles and back?
No, like I was getting growth pains when I was like 10, 11 and stuff, but when I did that shoot up, there was no pain, eh?
Wow, that's weird.
It was just got huge out of nowhere. And I remember my mum did this growth chart again, like all the way from when I was like 10 years old or something. And then like every 2 weeks or something, we'd go in there and I'd grown like 1-2 centimeters.
Far out.
Like massive. It just grew heaps quick. And like by the time I'd finished growing when I was like 17 or whatever, I was just like, I wasn't fat anymore. I'd lost a bit of weight and everything as well at the same time. I was just like skinny, fat, like heaps skinny, no muscle. I was so stretched out.
Yeah.
And then like shit sloppy rig. So bad. But yeah, I think at that stage, like after I'd grown and stuff, I think my brother's footy manager kind of like reached out to my mum and said, I saw your other son's like getting all right and stuff like that. So then I got signed with him and he helped me. I think I went and just trained with like Roosters SG Ball, which is the 18s.
Yep.
And just kind of trained with them.
So he saw you more as like physically this kid could be something good.
Yeah. He kind of thinks about it that way and stuff. So it's Gavin Orr. He's the one who got Jordan Mailata over to, so he's his manager. Yeah. And like obviously you see him as 6'8". Some people might not have the brains or the smarts to think that he's a physical specimen. He should be playing professional sport. Yeah. You know, instead Gav kind of thinks out of the box sometimes and thinks, well, what sport could he play? Look at the NFL defensive linemen and shit. Like they're all huge. He could be perfect for one of those if he just learned how to play. In your case, like if he just learned how to play the game, then he'll be good at it. You know.
Yeah, you can see that kind of.
Yeah. So he kind of signed me up from that, and then played. Just trained with the Roosters and stuff, and then I went back to Cronulla to play my age group of SG ball, which was 18s. But I got I think I didn't start out the year even of that, so like I still struggled to put on muscle and stuff. Like quickly, I was still like skinny fat, like I said. And didn't start out playing that rep season, but I ended up finishing in the starting back row and stuff, and then I think the next rep footy I played was 20s the next year. But
so you got called in. So you signed with the Bulldogs that next year?
Yeah, signed with the Bulldogs. I remember I played school footy that year, and it's like the national competition of like. So I went to Endeavour Sports High, good footy school, and then there's like schools like, let's say, Hills and Westfields and Patrician Brothers, and then up in Queensland there's like Palm Beach and Keebra. They're most of the big schools, you know. And so I played that, and my team comes second in the whole nationals. And we lost to Patrician Brothers.
So was that Endeavour? Did you say
Endeavour? Yeah. We came second. So and I was probably one of the best players on my team, and I played like really good in the tournament and stuff. And the only team we lost to was Paddy's, who had like Dallin Zalesniak and Paulie and Matt Lodge and Robert Jennings and Bryce Cartwright, all these guns, like 5-6 Australian schoolboys or something. So like, of course we're going to lose.
Yeah, 100%.
And then after that, I remember I played really well, and I was like, well, I kind of earned a spot in the. They were all like, most of them had already played 20s and stuff by that stage.
Oh, really?
They were guns at that age as well. And I was like keeping up with them. So I'm like, I've earned a spot in the 20s, in a 20s squad at least somewhere. And the Sharks still told me, you can come and trial for our 20s squad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the Bulldogs just like offered me a contract and said, you come play for us.
Yeah, okay.
And at the time, my brother was playing for them as well.
Yeah.
So I was just like, please, you want, like, you cut me from Harold Matts, and like I was a bit bitter at the time and everything. Like, I'm a kid.
But also, like you're one of the best players, and one of the best.
Yeah. I thought I was one of the best players in the area. Yeah, and then
what do you need to see? Like, what do you need to see?
I'd been playing there for like 4 or 5 years or something, and like here you can come try like get stuff. So I went to the Bulldogs, and then ended up playing 20s that year, and I think we come like third into 20s. And, yeah, just worked my way.
Was this around? Oh no, was Ben Barbara just leaving 20s then?
Nah, he would have been he was like my brother's age almost.
So
Barber.
That's 2015. Oh no, so he debuted in 2012. So that's quite.
Yeah.
So he would have been he debuted. So you would have been like 2 years after probably, 13 and 14. Yeah, so he would have just left. He was
probably playing first grade in 2012.
He debuted 2012, and then he came back into like I think he was in and out, and then So he would have come a year after. So 2 years there, and then how did it? So 2015 you graduated to the New South Wales Cup team for Bulldogs.
Yeah. So I just did my trot through 20s.
Yep.
Got a full-time gig. And then just...
What was that like, the full-time contract like? How did that call come about?
So like, I think after my first year of 20s, I played really well, and the team ended up coming like third or fourth or something, like I said. So obviously a whole bunch of them are going to graduate into the full-time squad. And I was playing pretty good, so they called me up just to train a few days a week with the first grade then. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
They didn't do it like formally say,
they never do they?
Can you come train 3 days a week? Congratulations, or anything like that. It was like they'd just send me a text like, can you come tomorrow? Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, and then like it ended up being like 3 days a week.
Yep.
Me and Adam Elliott, I think it was.
Really?
Because we're the same age, and we played in the same under-20s team. Yep. So we were doing that just like three days a week. Like, we were loving it.
Yep.
Getting like mad experience and stuff with the boys.
Who was the first person you met where you were like, fucking hell, that's such and such or whatever?
Probably just when, like, I think Benny just had his mad year in 20, like whatever it was. And when I first went there, and Benny Barber was obviously there. And I was
man.
And he was only tiny compared to me. And I was like, this bloke's the biggest gun. Like,
and he just kills it. And
absolute gun, absolute gun. And it's like, well, he's only tiny. It just gives you a bit more belief as well. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm huge compared to this guy. And he's absolutely running a mark and scoring 20 tries and setting up, and Dally M medalist easily head and shoulders.
Yeah.
And it gave me a bit more confidence. And when I started seeing all the other blokes and even the forwards and everything, I was like I'm as big as these guys.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me some confidence.
Yep.
So unless it was like Sam Cass, he was huge, man. He was
I remember my first trial, like just in under 19s, we ran past the first grade Broncos.
Yeah.
And the Dragons as well. And I couldn't believe how big they were, man. Like I was like, because I was still in soccer kind of mode.
Yeah, true.
But then like eventually you get to that period, like you just said, like you're like, okay, like, you know, Shaun Berrigan's not that big. Like he kills it, but like my frame is just as big as him, if not bigger kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's weird how you just need to see them in real life to get that.
Yeah, you need that like kind of validation almost. You know that I can be this good. And like that's what training that little preseason gave me.
Yep.
Yeah, I can be this good. And so I ended up playing 20s in 2014 as well.
Yep.
Just about the whole year.
Yep.
I got like injured for like a huge chunk of the year, so it pretty much put me out like the whole year just about. And, but at the start of the year they were offering me like a deal to train full time for 15, 16.
Yep.
And so my manager was like, I'll put it off a bit because I went really good and I kind of trained a bit of preseason that year. Yep. He's like, if you kill it in 20s, you make junior Kangaroos and stuff like that, then like you'll come up and
the offers will be better.
Offers will be better and stuff. And then I got injured a whole chunk, so I just ended up signing back with the Bulldogs. And so I went through that preseason and went pretty well. Then went into the Bulldogs New South Wales Cup, and I think when I debuted, by the time I debuted first grade, I think I was like leading try scorer in the competition or something.
What, in the New South Wales Cup? As a back rower?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I was lucky. I had good players playing outside me and stuff as well, so they'd make line breaks. I'd just be pushing up through the middle.
Try time.
Always, try time. And like I remember Lloyd Perrott was playing, he called me Shaun Merritt because I just score like all these easy like support play tries.
Fuck it.
I was like, I was like, don't be jealous, bro. Don't be jealous.
Bro, that's crazy. So, like, what, round 14 and you're a back rower leading try scorer?
I was like, I was close up there for sure. I scored
hell.
heaps. I scored like 3 or 4 doubles in a row, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah, something crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Like, not even good tries, just like I said, some poor plays.
Just up the middle.
Yeah.
Just call them.
I was giving it to our wingers and stuff. Like, our winger was like second or third, and I was like, oh, you're crap.
Do your job, mate. Do your job.
You're doing my little hit-ups as well. Yeah.
Okay, so how did the debut come about? How did the call come about and things like that?
It wasn't a call. It was just like, so I think T-Rex got injured that week or something.
Yep.
Or maybe T-Rex was injured a few weeks before. He tore his pec or something.
Yep.
And then someone else might have went down. Maybe it was Frank or went down that week. And it was kind of like who they're going to call in next, who's going to go and take his place. And I always thought that Adam Elliott was, because he's a back rower as well, he was always in line to go in front of me.
Yep.
Kind of like you know the hierarchy, kind of
100%.
who's going to go in next. So I thought he was going to go in next, but he was injured as well. And so it came like I was the other back rower in the Reggie's team, and then everyone else had been pretty much exhausted, unless he wanted to put a front rower in there, which nah,
not going to do that.
And then I think we had like Jacob Loco or something, and I was like a bit worried maybe he'll put Jacob because he was a beast.
And he was like the next big thing back in that.
He was huge. He was bigger than me.
Yeah.
I'm playing back row. He's center, and like he'd just come back from injury or something as well, and he was like starting to just run over everyone in reserve grade and like go well. And I was like a bit worried that maybe he'll get the gig over me and stuff. And then I just kind of trained with him. He just kind of put me in to train with him throughout the week and stuff like that. I think I got named as like 18th man, or like I was named at like 23 or something. Yep. Yeah, I think I was named at 20. So
like you definitely don't know you're playing.
I know. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. And then I think it was like on the Wednesday or Thursday or something. Des called me in and he's like, "Oh, congratulations, man! You'll be playing
like?
first grade this week." And I was like, I kind of knew it was coming type thing because they were putting me in and they weren't putting anyone else in.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, man." He's like, "Yeah, you really deserve it. Good person." That's how he talks. And he's like he always looks at the ground and like he's really so, like awkward.
He's fucking so smart, eh? Like,
he's like, "Oh, you really deserve it," and stuff like that. I was like, "Yeah, thanks a lot."
Yep.
That's all I could really say.
100%.
Don't know what to say. Like, "Oh yeah, I'll do my best for you," And
so how old were you at this stage? 20 or 19?
Yeah, I think I was 20. I was 20. Yeah. And then I knew, like obviously I was going to tell my mum and stuff like that, but I didn't call her. I was like, I'm just going to, because I think I'd been telling her like, she's really into it and stuff. So she knew when Frank got injured. And
there was a chance.
There's a good chance. So then she every day she'd ask me, "Oh, what's happening?" and stuff. And then I went home that arvo and like just kind of I waited for the family to be there. I was like, "Yeah, I'm playing first grade this week." I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, good work."
Fucking hell. That feeling, you can't ever replace that feeling.
Yeah, it was weird because it wasn't just like a sudden thing, shock, surprise. Like I'd been going pretty well, and then like the week was kind of built up for me to play. So
and because you're in the system, like they progress you into it pretty well usually. It's not like it's. When you hear stories of like, oh, he was plucked out of 20s or whatever, that's when you're like, wow, that's crazy.
It's like usually, way back in the day.
Yeah, usually they bring you through the system, you train with them.
Exactly right.
And then you kind of, not expecting it, but you're just like, this is a natural progression for me kind of thing.
Yeah, in a way I was like, well, like I kind of deserved it. I feel I was as good as everyone else. And well, of course, I'm the next logical person to put in that spot. So
I've worked hard for this.
It was obviously, I was stoked still to hear it and everything. And it was amazing. And then like when I had to get up and go on the field, I was fucking the most nervous I've ever been.
What was that like?
I don't really get nervous, before games or anything.
What do you remember from the debut?
I remember like when they first called my name and then just like heart sank almost, like, "Laney, get ready." Whoa, I was like, "Oh shit, here it is."
Yeah.
And I think I went out there and like first carry, just kind of, because I was like so tight and nervous and stuff, didn't even carry the ball hard, but like I was expecting it to be like a whole level above. Just even though I trained with them, whole preseason stuff, I knew it would be like, I was expecting them to just whack me or something. I was like, I was going to go up game intensity. Yeah. And like they didn't whack me or anything. I went all right. And then I was like, oh, that wasn't too bad. Yep. And then like because I was so tight and stuff, I think I remember I almost got stepped or something like that, just off like a nothing play, just like half back down, and then just lost my footing, and luckily the inside bloke like covered me and stuff.
Yeah.
But then like once you make a few tackles and like, get your hands on the ball.
I had
and
the
stuff.
exact same feeling. Like I was my first run. I remember it like clear as day. It was like just a shitty little scoot. It was not like it was just a nothing scoot. And I remember getting tackled, and I was like, and I found my front, and I was like,
it's not bad, eh?
man, these guys, this is just normal.
Yeah,
like, this is normal.
exactly.
And I was like so shocked. I'm like, I'm all good here. I'm all good. Let's go, baby. And then, so that's a similar feeling to yourself.
Yeah. And then it was just like, just continued play the whole. I actually played pretty well, and then wasn't until after really that it like the magnitude of it kind of hit me, and I was like, oh wow, I actually played first grade and I actually went really well. Heaps happy with myself. And then like when I finally saw my mum, and she was just kind of like starting to tear up a bit, like I'd never cry about anything, man. And then like when I didn't start crying, but like you know how when you fight back the tears and it's like you feel it, trying not to do anything, and just gave her a big hug, and like got some photos with my family and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of you and stuff. And so I felt mad even though we just lost
to the Titans as well.
And then like other blokes obviously that I'd watched playing and everything. I think I versed like Luke. I remember specifically Luke Douglas was like, oh, good work, mate, it's your debut too, eh? And I was like, he's like, oh mate, you killed it, good work. You're like just feel stoked about yourself. And then we went in, and Des gave everyone a spray because like we should have won the game, we just blew it. And then he's like, oh, congrats, Laney.
I don't know how to feel right now.
And then Tim Brown walked over to him and he goes, how about him sucking you off, Laney? Or something like so something like that. I was like, all right.
Okay, sweet. It's all good, baby. And so that year was crazy for you. You got the New South Wales Cup Team of the Year, and you were named the club's Rookie of the Year. Yeah. So I ended up playing the rest of the year in first grade. I was mainly just coming off the bench and stuff. We had some gun players. Play 15 minutes a year, a week, pretty much off the bench. But pretty much because I played well in reserve grade, and then I played first grade the rest of the year. That's why I made the New South Wales Cup Team of the Year, I think. Okay.
And we only had a handful of rookies, but like I was pretty much the obvious choice because I'd been playing consistently and like scored a bunch of tries. And it was, like, going pretty well. So it was pretty fun. Real good start to my career. So.
And so were you, I guess, I mean, how did the release to the Warriors come about then? Like you debut at 20 years old, you're in the Team Cup of the Year, you win Rookie of the Year, and then the next year you're off to the Warriors on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Like, how'd that come out?
Yeah, so I was still contracted to the Bulldogs 2016, and I did the whole preseason with them. So after the 15 season, I did a review, and Des has like his stats and everything like that, and he showed me my stats and stuff, and like because I'd scored so many tries in like a small amount of time and stuff, I was rated like heaps high in terms of like how well a back rower can rate per minute or something, because he does this algorithm where he works out how valuable you are. Okay. He has his own statistic, and it rates you like out of 100 or something. Yeah. And then it's like per minute and all this shit.
Wow.
He's very statistical.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that's like what your end of season review is like. And then, so I did that, and like that kind of, I think, just went to my head a little bit.
Yep, okay.
The preseason came, like, I was still hungry and everything, but I was just a bit complacent. Yep. And I was a bit, like, kind of entitled that, like, because I played so well, I was like, of course I'm going to play first grade this year. Like, I played mad.
Just young, eh?
Yeah. Just young, stupid.
We all do it, man.
Childish. So I didn't train as hard and was just like getting through the preseason rather than like going at it, attacking it. It was fucking hard preseason too. Is when like the interchanges got changed from 10 to 8, so he just made it that much tougher. And like I just didn't cope with it as well. And then it came to like when it was time to select the team, and he ended up going with Adam Elliott over me, really, pretty much. When it came to selecting the team, and so I was stuck in reserve grade. And then at the same time, I'm trying to negotiate my contracts for next year.
Okay, yeah.
The season after. So I'm playing reserve grade, and like obviously you want to be playing first grade. So
100%.
My manager's like, what do you like? Are you gonna in the preseason? He was like, so when you start playing first grade and killing it, you're gonna get this and this. Yeah. And had offers from other clubs already and stuff because I went well. And I was like, mate, I don't think I'm going to be playing first grade, eh? Like, you just kind of knew weeks leading up that I wasn't going to be in there.
You
know. I know. I was like, mate, I know he's gonna go with this team instead.
Yep.
And then so the start of the season rolls around and the Bulldogs are like, oh, we don't have any money to offer you. We're going to re-sign this guy and that guy. And I think it was like Mbai and Jacko and Eastwood and stuff.
Yep.
I was like, all right. So it ended up just coming to weeks and weeks. I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks in, and I hadn't got a shot in first grade yet. And so other clubs are like withdrawing their offers, and like Bulldogs have offered me like just about a minimum deal again.
Yep.
So my manager comes up with this deal for the Warriors, and it's like he just calls me on like a Wednesday or whatever it is, Wednesday Arvo, and he because he was calling me consistently he's like, I'm trying to get you somewhere else, like, because you can play first grade and get you better, so you can get a better deal next year and stuff. Yeah. And he calls me on Wednesday Arvo, and he's like, mate, I've sorted out this deal for you. He goes, what do you reckon about the Warriors? I was like, if you'd asked me ever before this, where would you go play footy? I would say anywhere except Canberra and New Zealand.
I was the same, man.
That was me. Anywhere except Canberra and New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what about the Warriors? I was like, oh, mate, it's pretty cold, isn't it? I don't know. Like, I'll be away from family. And then he's like, oh, that's the only, I've got a deal for you there. He goes, and you'll be trading places with Raymond for Taylor Mariner. So you'll inherit his contract and he'll have your contract at the Bulldogs and you'll swap places immediately.
Yep.
And he goes, they've told me like they're real keen to get you across. You'll be playing first grade every week. You'll be playing first grade this weekend or next weekend if you go. Yeah. It's like you only have to. I was like, okay, well, what about? Like, I don't want to live over there for too long. Like, is it going to be how long? Just the end of the season, or does it have to be next year? And he goes, they're happy with it to be just this year. I was like, are they completely aware that I want to leave at the end of the? He's like, yeah. They're happy with to just have you fill that roster space and play just for this season because they think they have an opportunity to win the comp this year because I think they just signed two of us, Shek and Isaac Luke that year to join Shaun Johnson. Like there was big hype around them that year and it was like they're one of the favourites to win the comp at the start of the year. Yep. And like obviously the promise of playing with them and potentially winning a comp and playing outside of Shaun Johnson was what they were telling me as well. I was like, mad, how good's this? And like the money that they were offering me was like double what I was already on. And I was like, how good's that? Yeah. And so it pretty much became a no-brainer for me, either like rot in reserve grade or go over there and play first grade every week, supposedly, you know? Yeah. So, I ended up, I was like, how long do I have to this? And he's like, as soon as possible. I was like, can you give me a day and I'll let you know? And he's like, yeah. Okay.
Such a huge decision. And you don't realise it when you're so young.
Yeah, I know. And so obviously I went home, told my family, told my friends and stuff, and they're all like, well, it's a bit of a no-brainer, you know, you got to go. I was like, yeah, I know, I just don't want to go.
It's a whole nother country.
I don't want to go, I don't want to go, but like I was like, oh, it's the mature decision to go and pursue my career and stuff. So I made the decision, and then I think the next morning I popped in. I still had training with the dogs, and like they hadn't been informed yet. Oh, yeah, they hadn't been informed yet. So walked in. I was like training with the reserve grade boys, and we had like our rolling and stuff like that. And then I think we had a bit of weights, and then afterwards we're going to go on the field and start doing like practicing the plays of the other team that the first grade was versing that week. And so sitting there in the reserve grade, like rolling and shit, and then one of the boys are like, oh, Laney, surely you're trying to get out of here soon, mate. You don't want to be stuck here all year. I was like, yeah, I'm going to the Warriors. They're like, oh, yeah, good one. Whatever, like a joke. Yeah. I was like, nah, I'm being actually serious. I agreed to go yesterday. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm being 100% legit. I know it doesn't seem serious, but I actually agreed. Like I'm being traded with Raymond for Taylor, and like went into specifics really. And they're like, oh, really? Wow. Like heaps, and they're like, wow, good work, man.
Yeah. The Reggie boys, like, they get that.
The Reggie's boys are just like, it's like them against the system, you know? They all hate it.
Because they want to be in first grade.
Yeah. They're all like a bit jealous and a bit bitter and stuff.
Well, they're competitive, man. That's what they are.
100%. That's footy players, yeah. They're like, good work, man. You're the one that got away. You're the one that got out. And stuff like that. I was like, yeah. And then went out in the field and I'm training. And I remember Lloyd Perrottick, and he's a smart ass. And he's like, Raymond, calling the ball off me. Because obviously, and then like Jimmy Dimmick had known by now, and he's just kind of laughing. Yeah. Then after the field session, I just kind of went into the office and told him, like, I'd made a decision, told Des and Crusher or whatever. And they're like, oh, yeah. sad to see you go, blah, blah, whatever they're saying. I don't know, I can't remember. I was like, yeah, no hard feelings, you know, like it's a business, whatever. And then, shook hands with them all and
the good old
said goodbye to everyone. Like, everyone had now been informed in the staff and stuff. So said goodbye to all the staff. And I think we'd finished weights a little bit later than the first grade boys. So I didn't get to go around until the first grade boys. There's only a couple. So I told a couple that was there. And I think I was flying out on like the next day, the Friday or something.
Yeah, man.
Like, told me, pack your bags and stuff. We'll fly out and we'll have you stay in a hotel over the weekend and this and that. It might have been like Saturday. I went home with the team. The Warriors team played like that Friday maybe, and then I flew home with them.
Oh, fuck.
On the Saturday.
What?
Yeah,
was that awkward? We were like, what's up, boys?
Yeah. I had to go to the hotel where they were staying, and then I caught the team bus with them to the airport.
Oh, fuck, that's torture.
I was like, oh, hey, boy, like in normal clothes. Oh, hey, boys, how you doing? I'm your new teammate.
That's awkward as, man.
And then, like, I started chatting to a few of them. Obviously, like, just they kind of had been informed on it. Yeah. I was like, oh, when did you get told? And like, oh, just like before. And in the team meeting before we got on the bus, we're like, oh, we've got a player joining us from the Dogs and getting traded with Raymond and got informed of the whole thing. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And then, I was in New Zealand after that.
And so, how did it go? Like, played one game in New Zealand, so obviously it didn't go too well.
No. So I went fucking shocking.
Bro, I'm feeling your pain. Trust me. Went there too. Didn't play much footy there.
Spent 7 months over there, and probably the worst time of my life. Stuck in reserve grade. Played 20 minutes. Got hooked.
As in 20 minutes of first grade.
20 minutes of first grade. I played one game. Yep. Started and then got hooked after 20 minutes and didn't get back on, and then played reserve grade the whole rest of the year. And
were you playing terribly, or like what was it?
Wasn't playing too horribly, like, but definitely wasn't anything like how I was playing the year before in first grade or anything like that. Yeah. It's pretty hard when you drop to reserve grade from first grade because, like, obviously, if the other coach does his homework, then you'd be one of the key players that they're going to look out for and stuff. So
it's true.
You suddenly become someone that's like they don't really care about, and so you score these tries and everything that you shouldn't have any right to. Yeah. So suddenly now, every time you get the ball, someone's shooting off the line at you.
It's true.
Got 3 blokes on you at all times, and everyone's just trying to give you the hardest time. You know, it's fucking dogfight. Yeah. And like, if you're not mentally prepared to get up for that game, you're just gonna go crap. And so I've gone worse in reserve grade than what I've gone in first grade because at the times when I was in reserve grade, I was just so mentally like fucked.
I was similar.
Fucked. I just like didn't want to play. And so I got to the stage in New Zealand where it's like, I think I had like an option or some shit to stay there for like a decent amount of coin, and my man, I think the club had to agree on it or something as well. They weren't going to agree on it. Like, it would have been a waste of money, let's face it. And then my manager's like, oh yeah, just agree with it and like put some like a bit of pressure on them, and maybe they'll agree and this and that. Even if you want to leave, you can just go to the preseason and get paid out a bit, and maybe they'll pay out some more to leave. Yeah. And I was like, mate, I'm not fucking staying here a single second longer than what I have to.
Because people don't realise, like, I was young as well when I went. I was pretty much the same age. And, like, it's not the, like, people. The people are fucking fantastic. Yeah. And it's just, like, it's such a fucking huge move, man. A whole nother country. The weather is terrible.
Oh, mate, there was a time where I think we had, like, a 4-week home stand in the Reggies. Yeah. So we played the whole month there, so I didn't get to come home to see my family or anything at that time. Yeah. And it fucking rained every day and was freezing cold. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst ever.
It's tough, eh? Yeah. You just don't realise how hard it is mentally as a young kid to deal with that.
Oh, it was so bad. That was easily the worst time of my life, I reckon. But like, that allowed me to kind of, I guess, because before that, obviously, I valued making money and my career and stuff. Yeah. After that, I'm like, fuck that. I want to move back home to my fucking mates and my family, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so true.
Suddenly, I had to adjust my values and everything. Yep. Like, I had to grow a bit as a person after that experience. So it allowed me to do that. I moved back home and was happy again. And I signed with Manly at the end of the year or something. I got a bit of a lifeline from Manly. They were struggling a bit in the back row department. So, I got signed there from Bozo. I think Bozo was always a big fan of me from when I played at the Dogs. And he was like, oh, you've been a bit hard done by over there. And like, I feel like you haven't reached your potential, and you have a lot of potential, and you can be a great player, and you could play 200 first grade games, you know, and this and that. So
it gives you confidence here and that, eh?
When he told me that, and then Baz met with me as well, and he pretty much said the same thing. I was like, yeah, fucking oath, let's do it. So signed with Manly and moved back home, back in with the whānau. And then,
you learn all those words when you're over there, eh? Like,
you learn all different shit. You learn what a fucking duvet is.
Chili bin.
Yeah, you learn what
jandals.
Jandals is what's it?
Kia ora.
Kia ora. They always say kia ora. You see about a fucking 1,000 huckers like every birthday or some shit. Everyone's doing a hucker. And you're like when I was a kid, I used to love seeing the hucker. But
I've seen it so many times.
After that, I was like, oh my god, I've seen it that many times since I've been over here.
So the year with the Seagulls was like really good. Really, like you ended the Seagulls leading try scorer.
That was last year, yeah. I started out like the first year that I was at the Seagulls. I didn't go too good. I was stuck in reserve grade most of the time again, and I think I got a bit of a crack at the back end of 2017. And then I was almost like, before I got the crack, I was playing crap in Reggie's again. Like once again, deep slide. You know how it is.
Yeah, bro, head down.
Yeah, it is.
It just gets worse and worse. Yeah.
And then I got a lifeline pretty much. I think Bozo really went into bat for me again and said, like, we bought this bloke for a reason. Like, he's a good player. His confidence is shot. Yeah. Give him a crack at first grade. And then I played first grade after, like, Ciro got injured or something. Yeah. And I went really well again. So I kept my position. I played a few bad games that back into that year, but I pretty much maintained my position until Ciro got back. And but, yeah, still after that year, I was kind of like, there was times throughout the year where I was almost saying, like, I might just fucking call it quits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I was just like, I don't even like playing anymore.
Wow.
Because I was stuck in reserve grade, and, like, you know how it is then. And I was always just, shook and didn't even care anymore. I was like, it's just not important to me anymore.
And like,
if you don't care, you don't love it anymore, you know? Then what's the point of doing it?
Bloody oath, yeah.
When I started playing first grade, obviously, you get confidence back. So I liked it a bit more. So I had that whole off season to kind of, like, think about shit, and came back at the beginning of last preseason, and I was just like, you know what, haven't really given myself the best possible chance to play first grade, to be a first grade player. Like, I've shown potential and stuff, but like I owe it to myself and to everyone and to my mum, and it's like she would drive me to Cronulla training and stuff like that when I was a kid and all this shit. So she was been there the whole time, did all this work for me. Yep. And like, I'd worked my ass off as a kid and stuff like that as well to kind of get where I was. Like, I owe it to everything, and just to try and reach my potential, at least give myself a crack and just put in everything in this preseason. So I did, and ended up playing every game last year, and
probably your best year of your career.
Best year of my career last year. Ended up, I started off the bench, front row, playing about 30 minutes a game or something.
Front row?
Yeah, playing front row.
How much were you weighing?
About 112 or something. That's similar to what I am now.
You 112 now?
Yeah.
Fuck.
About that. But yeah, I was playing front row, and then as like I think a few more injuries happened and stuff like that, it kind of became a need for me to play back row, and then started scoring all these tries and shit.
Life is great.
I think I scored like 2 doubles in 3 weeks at one stage, like mad. And we were struggling. Our team was struggling, so I became like the leading try scorer of the team because all our wingers had been injured and stuff throughout the year. Like, if a back row was leading try scorer, you know, like
something's wrong.
Your club's in a bit of barnos. So, I think I ended up like equaling Turbo. Yeah, I was equal with Turbo at the end.
So you're just spraying with that. Turbo, you're nothing, bro. You might want
Mate, he set up about 20 tries though, and like so many line breaks.
Who cares about that? The only thing that matters is try Turbo. You might run 400 meters a game and have 6 line breaks, but
he's been a freak this year. He's that good.
He's a gun, man.
Unbelievable. Undefeated, like
8 games undefeated since he's been playing.
Crazy, eh?
The crazy thing about Turbo, in my opinion, like there's so many crazy things, but I reckon the craziest thing about Tommy Bra is I feel like he hasn't even reached his potential yet.
Yeah, I reckon?
No.
Yeah, I can see him getting better. I can see him, it's hard, man, though. He's so good already.
Like, but I mean, like, I think he can be like a Greg Inglis.
Yeah.
I think he could be that.
I think the only thing that separates him from Inglis at the moment is like longevity. You know?
Yeah.
If he's consistently like this
Oh, if
for
he's like
5
this,
more years,
you'd start talking Greg Inglis.
he's like one of the GOATs, mate.
Well,
Like,
that's what
I don't know anyone who impacts the game, or you can argue maybe like Tuvas Sheck and Teddy and that, but like look at how much impact Turbo has on his team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable. He comes in, they win.
Oh, it's crazy.
He makes all these meters, sets up half their tries.
Yeah.
Like, Cherry and or Jake and the 2 big boppers up the middle and stuff like that. They're all going mad this year too. And Manasi, 9, he's having an unbelievable season.
He's having a great year, actually.
Like, Turbo is just a freak, mate. And he's, like, out of all the players I've played with, I reckon he's probably the most naturally gifted to play rugby league that I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
just, like, so fast, so fit, like, to the point where he doesn't just run at third gear, you know, he's able to just back up sprint after sprint after sprint, and he could run for 200 meters and 10 Ks in one game, and then like at the very back end of the game he'll still run 100 meters and score a try and be the fastest on the field, you know. Like that's how
that
good
repeat
he is.
effort
and,
is
and like his skill is next level, like so good.
The thing is like he has the skills of a small fullback, the strength of a massive fucking giant
back
fullback.
rower or front rower or something.
And that's what I mean. Like he's 22. I'm pretty sure he's 22.
I think so. Yeah, 22.
So he's 22. That's what I mean.
Freak.
I just feel like if he just continues the way he is, you'll start talking about him in the same breath.
Imagine 10 more years of what we're seeing.
I know, it'd be crazy.
Imagine that. It's like he just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's had a few injuries and stuff here and there, but like it's going to happen, you know. Like he's 6'5".
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Big blokes generally get more injured, and like I guess he's very fast and so he runs a lot and things like that.
Freak. But yeah, if he continues on this route, especially him and Tedesco as well, like both of them and Roger, if they continue on this route,
how about the fullbacks? Like
crazy
Ponga,
and we didn't even just mention Ponga. Like,
you didn't even mention Ponga, and that's like they're all
crazy. And then you got Clockstad that's playing mad as well.
He's playing that good. I played with him in the Warriors.
He's probably the nicest. He's so nice it offends me.
Yeah,
because I feel like a piece of shit.
Have you met Jake Trbojevic?
I haven't met Jake. I've met Chanza, and it's offensive. Like, don't be so nice because you're making me feel.
A legend. That's what they're all like over there.
Bro, you're actually making me feel like a bad person. Therefore, what you're doing is not being nice.
You're a gronk.
You're actually a bad person. You're so nice. You've gone the full circle to a bad person again. No, he's a fucking legend, and I you know, they're the kind of guys, kind of like Jake Trbojevic as well. It's like you just like love to see them succeed because they're such good people.
For sure.
Whereas like when a gronk's succeeding, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy, he could be fucking anything. Can't wait to get like big fat cameras that like plug straight into a fucking computer or something.
Yeah, fucking oath.
And just like automatically upload to the computer.
Does that one connect through Wi-Fi and shit to your computer?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I just fucking.
I'm seeing this chick and she has one that does that. Connects to your phone and like to your computer and shit. Mad expensive one, I think, but like she does it as like a job anyway. So for sure, probably worth investing in just to save you a bit of hassle.
Yeah, they're fucking so expensive though.
Yeah, crazy, hey.
Yeah, what's the freakiest? So Tommy is the number one most talented, naturally gifted. What's the freakiest thing you think you've seen him do where you've just been like, mate, come on, bro?
That Turbo's done.
Yeah.
Mate, you see him do freaky shit that often, and it's just like...
It's normal.
The thing that he did on the weekend even, 2 weekends ago, against us, when he versed us, I don't know if you saw it, he scored this try where Cherry put in this bomb. He scored scored one similar in Origin.
Yeah.
But like, if you watch closely what he does, he runs down the field, not even looking at where the kick is, and then he just watches Gutho the entire time, and watches Gutho go up for the ball, and then that's when he decides to quickly just go up and then snatches it out of his hands.
Yeah.
But like the ability to be able to track the ball that well, and like the fact that it's going away from you, like you know how hard it is for a kid to catch a kick going away from you. Like,
and you're running at full pace.
Running at full speed. I don't even go near a kick if it's like the ball's going that far. You know, like that's
and
how
he's doing
crap
it like that. Like
he's a freak.
Boom.
His ability to catch the ball, his hands, he'll just throw these freaky like offloads out of nowhere. You're like, how did he even get that away?
Yeah. Is he number one fitness at the club?
I think he was just about.
Or the little whippets are still.
Just about. In terms of like, if you get everyone to run 100-meter sprints, and he'll be the fittest. Yeah. Okay. He does shit like that after training too. Like he'll do extras, like across the field running, and we'll do MAS running, if you know what that is, where you have a certain time to just make a certain distance.
Max anaerobic speed or something like that?
Yeah. So let's say you get 50-meter sprints where you have to do it in 8 seconds or something.
Yep.
And so he'd do an extra 10, 12 of those after already training and running 5Ks. He'd do an extra 10, 12 of those, but he'd be doing it in 7 seconds.
Oh my God.
So he's doing it at a faster speed than sometimes and then by the 12th one, he's doing them in 6 seconds because he wants to.
Far out. And he's doing that off his own bat, MAS.
Yeah.
That's like Pitt's fitness. Like
mate, the Trbojevics are like, oh, it's horrible. Like no one around you. Like
no
one
wants to do that. Like kicking, catching,
yeah, for sure. But that's all right. Extras, you know, do that. That's the type of shit you do. Extras.
Yeah.
Like unbelievably fit, mate. And like the Trbojevics are just like they just love footy so much.
Yep.
Just means so much to them that like they're just always doing that type of shit, and you can tell and they do like coaching and stuff like that in their spare time. And let's say captain's run, like they know obviously I had to go back home out east. They'd be like, oh no, you take my massage, they'd just kick the footy and like do goal kicking and just
so
anything with a footy.
Beings. They were made
anything with a footy, they'd be like, yep, I love it so much.
Fucking hell, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck those New South Welshmen. I'm a Queenslander. Yeah. They're guns, bro. Guns. Okay, so you have the best year of your career. And how did the Parramatta Eels deal come about? Was it just too good to knock back, or was it something you wanted to get moved back towards that area? Or
it was like, so I think at the time there's a bit of rumours going around about like Baz maybe leaving and stuff like that. Of course, he comes in, he's like, no, I'm not going anywhere, boys, and all that shit.
Yeah.
The club's struggling quite heavily at the time. I know Parramatta are too. But like there was a whole bunch of dramas and shit last year with like Jacko and things like that. And so like the whole year was kind of just a bit of a mess. So that's not the best when it's like it could be playing on your mind a little bit and stuff. And like the boys are all sweet. I love the boys heaps. And like when I started playing good footy, it just kind of improves your relationship with your teammates around you and stuff. So yeah, starting to really get in a good space and loving being with the boys, loving being a team. It's a great location.
Yeah.
I wanted to re-sign and stuff with them. So the negotiations started and stuff. But they had like salary cap restrictions for this year. So, and I think they'd re-signed maybe a few others at the start of the year or something. So it wasn't really what I could be offered elsewhere. So Parramatta came into the picture and like they were really keen to get me, and Brad started calling me a little bit, and then I went and met him, and he just told me basically he made me feel once again like really good about yourself, and like made me feel really, really well wanted at the club.
Yep.
So he told me, you know, mate, I see you as a starting back rower, like I think you'll make a really big, tremendous impact on this team. Like we need a bit of a culture change, and from what I've been told and what I can see, you really got your head screwed on and this and that. And, it made me feel really, really good about myself, and like really wanted, and I felt that they could really, really need me as well. And so when they came in, they offered a bit more coin too. So I had to kind of sum it all up, and at the end of the day, like when I think because Ciro was out all of last year as well, so when he came back, that was the position that I was starting in, you know, the right edge outside of Cherry.
Yep.
When he came back, there's the potential that, well, they have Joel Thompson, Marty Tapau, Adam Fennell-Blake, and Jake Trbojevic.
Yeah.
So they're all former rep players, about all current rep players that are in the starting pack. And then Ciro was to come back. I was like, well, where did I fit in with that team, you know? So I didn't really know.
Yep.
And then obviously the season before, when Ciro came back from injury, I got dropped back down. So obviously he was kind of ahead of me in the hierarchy a little bit. I was like, oh, well, fair enough if he puts him in front, whatever. He's a great player and he's playing outstanding this year, and all them Manly forwards that I just named having some of the best seasons of their careers, So it was fair enough. I was like, well, fair enough if you're not going to offer me as much coin and everything as well, because if you only see me as a bench front rower, then that's just is what it is. And I saw a bit more opportunity and stuff at Parramatta, and I ended up signing there. And
so it signed a 2-year deal?
Yeah. So at Parramatta this year, next year.
And so what was it like running out fucking Westbank Stadium the first time?
Fucking outstanding, eh? Like, I remember, so obviously we ran out to warm up and shit beforehand. I'm looking around, fucking half the warm up, just looking around, like, going, how good's this?
Yeah.
Just wondering how loud it was going to get.
Yeah.
And then, like, you run out and fucking just looking around. It's just got that finals atmosphere. It's always the games with the best crowds that are the best games, like the best ones to play in.
Yeah, it's true. You just there's that
it gives
energy.
You that great feel.
Yeah.
No matter how good or bad the game is, just like, fuck, that felt mad to play.
Yeah, it's true.
It just gives you so much energy. Yeah,
That's
and
true.
like just the atmosphere and everyone getting behind you. And when we went and lined up and for the kickoff, whatever it was, and like we ran out and they're all cheering us, and like so I just started to like gave them like one of these or like gave them a thumbs up or something. They all start cheering again.
Yeah.
And it was mad.
Yeah. Those moments, you just like,
unbelievable.
And then this is happening.
Then we put on a clinic and scored 50 or something. And,
joke.
And like I think it was like we're killing it in the first half. It was like 30-6 or something, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so like when we started scoring tries, I looked across and Gutho's just like under the post waiting for the kickoff, and he's like doing these ones. And the whole crowd there in front of him is going, yeah. And then like I look at the crowd and I'm just like, yeah. Same thing.
How good.
And they all just start cheering. It was mad. Yeah. Unbelievable
knows,
feeling. Just like that finals feel.
Yeah, bro. You just irreplaceable, that feeling.
Yeah. It's like I compare it to Suncorp, like even though it's 10,000 less or 15,000 less that it fits or whatever, it felt pretty much the same. Like I've played a few games at Suncorp, they always pack it out to watch the Broncos. So just how close it is to the action.
Great stadium.
And like I went up on the weekend because I'm injured, and I went up into the boxes and stuff, and it almost feels like you're just looking down onto the field.
How good's that?
It doesn't even feel like you're back. It feels like it's just so steep.
Yeah.
That it's unbelievable. It'd be a great place to watch it, and like heaps mad to play on.
Yeah. Bloody, I mean, it looks just like made for footy,
the
stadium is made for footy.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, so speaking of the team, who's the biggest pest in the team?
Pest.
Like just a pest, mate. I think I know who you're going to say already. It's either Reed. He's a pest. I can tell he's a pest.
Reedy.
A good pest, though. Good pest.
Reed's all right. I get along with Reed. Like we pester him quite a bit too, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So it's all just, he's bouncing back.
Exactly. It's a bit defensive,
He's on the back foot just
like we like to pester him. We always call him midget and shit.
No, I had him on the show. He's a fucking little legend.
Yeah.
He's a little legend.
Yeah.
Okay, biggest pest then. Who's the biggest pest where you're just like, mate, you're a pest?
Biggest pest. No one really pesters me much, eh? Like, I feel like I get along with everyone really well, but to the point where like, they're not going to piss me off.
Really?
I've got like a respectful relationship.
But I mean,
with
like
everyone.
a positive pest where it's funny, the funny pest, not a negative pest.
Hoffy can be a bit of a pest sometimes.
Hoffy is 100% positive pest.
He's hilarious, but like he doesn't pester me. He pesters other people. I sit back and watch.
He's fucking so funny, man.
But like everyone, Gutho and Mitch are always into each other heaps. Like,
yeah.
Shit, that I'm probably not going to say on here, but like, pretty personal shit, but like, it's pretty funny.
That's good. Okay.
It's mad. It's a good environment that we got. Like everyone's able to joke around with each other and pester each other. No one takes it seriously and personally or anything. Like we all just have a good laugh about it. And that's it.
So is the vibe pretty good around the club at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. So we kind of tried to address the culture and stuff like that at the start of the year, and like a pre-season camp in the second week, and we just kind of laid out the laws that we're going to be honest and truthful in everything that we say. And if you don't like it, like that's your issue. You got to learn to deal with criticism, and everyone's going to be treated equally and with respect. So even if an old bloke's acting out, a young bloke's able to pull him up on it if they want. So we feel that's the best way to be in the most successful culture and stuff. So obviously there's a lot of respect that needs to go towards a senior player. You know, they have a lot more experience and everything, but everyone's able to speak freely and openly and not be criticised for it.
Very egalitarian kind of setup.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And in the next 12 months, if everything goes perfectly for you, what are you doing? What's the goal for the next 12 months?
So just kind of get through this year, and hopefully the team goes really well. So we're on track now to like be in the 8 at least, and if we make a good enough run, we got a decent run home.
Yep.
We could potentially see ourselves in the 4. So
wow, that's massive.
We got a lot of potential, you know. It's just about being most consistent for us, you know. That's the main problem that we've struggled all year. So just for that, get that done, and on to next year, I suppose. Personal goals for me are just I kind of try and take it out of how I perform rather than the result. You know, I think that's the best way to kind of approach things. So I just want to be really consistent, and I want to play every game. And for me, it's just kind of trying to be 7 out of 10 every week, and trying to make the players around me better. And I feel with all of that, like I've got a gun young half inside of me, Dylan Brown, and Jenko's still like killing it this year, you know, and Mike Sivo on the wing. So all them players
his
around
try
me.
on the weekend was a joke.
Oh mate,
I mean, he's try assist,
unbelievable. What a freak, eh?
Bro.
He's only played football 48 months as well, like
insanity.
So all those players around me will kind of help that as well. And if we live up to our potential, and if we're a consistent team, then individual accolades will come off the back of that, you know. Obviously, I want to play Origin, and I feel like if I continue playing really well and the team goes well, then I could do that within the next few years. So that's something that I'd like to do, and play for my country and all those types of things. And if it all just comes off the back of like how consistently I can perform, you know, rather than seeing the results.
100%. And ask all the boys this. I play a name game, so I say a name, and you got to say the first thing that comes to your head.
First thing that comes to my head?
Yeah, just one word. I mean, you can say 2 words or whatever. It's fucking, no one's gonna fucking crucify you.
Okay.
So it's just like NRL players, and I'll say their name. Okay. You say their Mitchell Moses,
Nirvana,
Clint Gutherson,
Banter,
Darren Lockyer.
I thought GOAT, but like I don't think he's the GOAT. I think he's one of the GOATs.
One of the GOATs.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith.
Accountant.
Ricky Stewart.
Stress head.
Craig Bellamy.
Blow ups.
Andrew Johns.
No, he's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT?
He's the GOAT.
Number 1, boom. That's it.
Yeah, Andrew Johns, he was the GOAT. 100%. He was like my number 1 hero growing up.
Really, just frothing?
Yeah, easy. Like just seeing what he did in like 2001 grand final, was it?
Oh, I didn't watch footy going on.
I think it was 2001. They versed the Eels, and he was like head and shoulders favourites to win it.
Yeah, like
mad. Barely lost throughout the season. I know it's against the Eels. I play for him now, but he came out and just like dismantled them as 24-0 in half time or something. Just like him, and obviously had some help. He had some gun players around him, but he was like the head of the arrow, you know.
Yeah.
Like just
look what he did in Origin when he come back.
I know. Yeah. Like I remember watching that too. So 2001, I was only like 5, 6 or 7 or something. Yeah. But that was like that's one of my earliest memories playing footy. Of watching footy is that I think I fell asleep before the start of the GF, and I woke up and it was half time, and it was 24-0.
Oh wow!
Like, what the hell? And like it's really weird. And my parents were like, oh, "It's unbelievable! Like he just killed him." And then I remember 2005 watching when he came back, and like he just tore him apart, mate. Like the tries he set up and stuff. And it's like
I don't think we've ever seen anyone with his ball skills ever.
It was crazy, mate. He was just kind of. It's like he's ahead of his time, you know.
Yeah, like I know we've got guys that like flick passes and all that kind of stuff, but I mean like holding guys square, hitting short, hitting long, those
ability
kind of ball
to draw
skills.
In players and stuff. Like Thurston is really good as well. Like his ability to just take it to the line, just get bashed.
I just reckon like Thurston, let's say Joey was a 10, Thurston's like a 9.
Yeah.
Whereas like let's say Joey's fitness was a 9, Thurston's was a 10. You know what I mean? Like that's where, and what I feel like for me personally, Lockie is the GOAT, and I just feel like he's he's known across the whole board. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he's a goat. But obviously, I play with him, so I'm going to be wise.
If I like think about it statistically and stuff like that, I'd probably say Thurston, I reckon, is better than Joey because he just has the longevity again. Like,
the long career.
Yeah, he did it over a whole bunch of more games and stuff.
Yeah.
And
whereas like Joey, like on his day,
unbelievable. You know, can't be beat. He's like Shaq in basketball. Like, couldn't be stopped.
I feel like Joey on his day epitomizes rugby league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he is footy. Like, you know, like he is the fucking rugby league on his day. Okay, who else? We've got Brad Fittler.
Spacey.
Bro, his post-match interviews are fucking so good. So good. Corey Norman. Oh, you wouldn't have been there when Normie was there. Oh, at the start, you would have been there when he was there.
Yeah. I was there at the start.
Brother Normie.
Scoundrel.
Stacey Jones.
He's just a legend. Stace.
He was a legend.
He's a legend.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
Freak.
And Ask All the Biz, favourite movie of all time?
Favorite movie? Probably a massive nerd, eh? So I love the superhero movies. I love Star Wars and stuff. I know it just recently came out, but like watching that last Avengers,
that's pretty hectic.
That was fucking amazing. Like 10 years of build up, you know.
Yeah.
That's why it was so good for me.
Yeah.
Because I'd watched every single one like the day that they came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pretty much
so epic.
Ever since I was a kid, all this build up, and like I just remember the first time that like Thanos showed his face to it like after the first Avengers.
Yeah.
I was like, who's this guy? And pumped. Oh, he looks mad. And then go and look him up and stuff. And it's like 7 years after that, and finally he's in a movie.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But like I'm like mad into all that shit, you know.
Yeah.
Like I follow Instagram pages with all these facts about it.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, all these things, like heaps into it, man. So for when that finally came out, and it was, I think Game of Thrones came out like around the same time, and it was like I was mad into Game of Thrones for years as well. So I was like,
season was fucking terrible.
I was like, the two best things like that I've watched ever are gonna finish at the same time. And Game of Thrones, fucking, it was shit house. It was like the biggest letdown ever. So I went into watch Avengers, and I was like, oh fuck, please do not disappoint me.
Yep.
Sure enough, fucking Disney nailed it again. Like,
nailed it.
Marvel fucking they nail every fucking movie.
I just can't believe there was so many moving pieces and so many characters they needed to do right by, and they fucking did.
Yeah, exactly,
every single one.
Exactly right. It took 3.5 hours, but I don't care, man. Like,
that's what you want. That's what you want. Man.
Exactly right.
Game of Thrones. Right. I want to fucking. Honestly, if someone said you can get in the ring with those two cunts that wrote it,
fuck me dead, mate.
I was fucking bash them
butchered it.
You know what? They
butchered all of the fucking work. Like, oh, God.
They did it so badly. I think they intentionally did it badly because they had issues with the studio. That's how fucking bad it was.
Maybe, man. Like,
fuck me dead.
It was like, because the whole series, I was discussing it with someone yesterday or something. The whole series is like everything out of the box. You don't know what the fuck's coming.
Yeah.
And it's like they just went with the laziest options. And like with all these plot holes, it's just like everything. They're like, well, you know, everything that you learnt, fuck it,
doesn't
we're doing
mean
this.
Anything. Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Crazy.
Who cares that Jon Snow's Targaryen? You know,
yeah.
What the fuck is that about?
yeah. Oh, it doesn't.
He's Targaryen for no reason, and then he just goes up north again.
What did he survive for?
Yeah,
like what did he get resurrected for?
For nothing.
The prince of. He's supposed to be like the Prince of Fire or something like that.
Yeah. They had like the prophecies of
just for nothing. Meant nothing.
Yeah, how he's meant to pull out the fucking fiery sword or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah,
meant nothing. Like there's so many things. Anyway, we could fucking sig all day. Favorite rapper of all time, if you're a rap man.
Eminem.
Yeah, he's a goat.
Eminem.
He's the goat.
For all white boys, man.
Yeah, every white boy says Eminem.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. And it's been what a journey, bro. And you're only fucking 24.
Yeah, 24.
Still got another 10 years to go, bro.
Hopefully you get a whole bunch of games in there and make up for some missed times and some time spent in the dumps.
Yeah, man, I've been in the dump. I'm still in the dumps. I retired in the dumpster. But yeah, thanks.
It's all right. You get your way out.
Hopefully. Thanks for coming on, brother.
No worries. Good to have.